Chapter 5:15. Su Yiyan looked down at the caller ID on the screen, then looked at Hua Chenhuan's face, which was as black as the bottom of a pot, and said awkwardly, "It's my mom." Not only did Hua Chenhuan's black face not return to normal, but it darkened even more. If it were someone else, he could still take revenge, but his mother-in-law was someone he could not afford to offend, which made him even more aggrieved. Cheng Xiuqin did not say much over the phone, only asking Su Yiyan to bring Hua Chenhuan back tomorrow. Su Yiyan guessed that she must have known about Hua Chenhuan's matter, so she did not explain. She only promised to bring Hua Chenhuan back tomorrow, and they would talk about it when the time came. "My mom wants us to go back tomorrow." "Because of my matter?" "It should be," Su Yiyan said as she stared at Hua Chenhuan without blinking, not saying anything for a long time. Hua Chenhuan felt goosebumps on his back from her stare, and an ominous premonition suddenly arose in his heart. "What's wrong?" "My mom wants us to go back tomorrow." "I know. Didn't you just say that? We have to go back tomorrow, so we can't be too tired tonight." Hua Chenhuan finally understood Su Yiyan's meaning. He raised his eyebrows, but he was not as angry as Su Yiyan expected. "You can't do it tonight, but tomorrow night?" Su Yiyan's expression suddenly froze, and she rolled her eyes in anger out of humiliation. Hua Chenhuan's face suddenly showed an aggrieved expression when she glared at him. "Are you that unwilling?" Of course, it was not that she was unwilling, but she was caught off guard, and her heart could not take it. But when she calmed down and thought about it, they were husband and wife, and it was normal for them to do that kind of thing. Previously, she had wanted to give him a chubby son or a daughter. With that thought, Su Yiyan did not hesitate anymore. She suddenly raised her head and kissed Hua Chenhuan, then ran away with a blushing face. This time, Hua Chenhuan didn't stop her. She just touched the spot where she was kissed and smiled triumphantly. The news that Hua Chenhuan's legs were healed and she could stand up again quickly spread. Other than a few senior executives in the company who had a good relationship with Su Yiyan, Ning Chirue and the others, Old Master Cheng also received the news and called her to ask about it. To celebrate this joyous occasion, Ling Xiaoqi even sent another folder over. Su Yiyan blushed when she saw that. She didn't even dare to sleep with Hua Chenhuan on this last night. She tidied up and ran to the guest room to sleep for the night. The next morning, Su Yiyan woke up early and prepared several exquisite breakfasts. While eating, she also wanted to bring some back for Cheng Xiuqin and the others. As the saying went, gifts blind the eyes. Since they had eaten her food, they wouldn't make things too difficult for her and Hua Chenhuan. Su Yiyan was dreaming. As soon as Hua Chenhuan went downstairs, she immediately chickened out. Even during breakfast, she didn't dare to make eye contact with Hua Chenhuan. She was afraid that she would recall the scenes that she saw last night that were not suitable for children. Hua Chenhuan saw Su Yiyan's embarrassment. The corners of his lips curled up slightly, and his eyes flashed with a little impatience. He had already waited for so long. A little while more wouldn't make a difference. The atmosphere between the two was so subtle that even Uncle Zhang, who was standing on the side, could see it. However, he was not in a hurry. When his young master was in a wheelchair, the young madam was dead set on him. Now that his young master's legs were healed, the relationship between the two would definitely get better and better in the future. A little quarrel between young couples was a catalyst for their relationship. Maybe he would be able to see his young master and young miss in a while, so he had to prepare in advance. This little heartless girl was guarding against them as if they were thieves. Was she afraid that they would eat up Hua Chenhuan? He didn't know what kind of bewitching potion this stinky brat had fed his daughter-sister, to make her so devoted to him. Father Su, who was soaked in jealousy, snorted coldly and took the lead to stand up. "Let's talk in the study." Su Yuxuan followed closely behind Father Su. She straightened her clothes, rolled her eyes at Hua Chenhuan, and followed them out. Hua Chenhuan obviously understood that they were jealous of him. Not only was he not angry, but he also felt a little proud of being favored and quickly followed. Chapter 5:17. Su Yiyan followed Cheng Xiuqin upstairs, but they did not go directly to the hall or Cheng Xiuqin's room. Instead, they returned to Su Yiyan's original room. This room had been empty since Su Yiyan got married, but the furnishings in the room had not changed at all. Someone cleaned it every day, so it was exactly the same as before. Su Yiyan walked around the room. When she turned around, she met Chang Xiuqin's extremely complicated gaze. Mom, what's wrong? Didn't Auntie have something to ask me just now? What is it? Chang Xiuqin did not say anything. He still stared at Su Yiyan quietly. Su Yiyan felt goosebumps on her back. She coughed lightly and took the lead to break the silence. Mom, if you have something to say, just say it. There's no one else here. Actually, Auntie has nothing to ask me, right? Tell Mom honestly. Did Chen Huan's leg recover so quickly have anything to do with you? Were you the one who treated him? Su Yiyan opened her mouth. She wanted to explain, but when she met Chang Xiuqin's gaze, all the words she wanted to say were reduced to one word. Yes. Chang Xiuqin took a deep breath. Her expression was a little ugly. She paced back and forth in the room twice before asking, I'll ask you another question. You have to tell Mom honestly. Su Yiyan's heart suddenly skipped a beat. She said weakly, Please ask. Are you and Hua Chenhuan really together because you like each other? Do you have some kind of agreement? What? What agreement? Su Yiyan blinked and looked confused. Something like an agreement where you two get married, he helps you vent your anger, and you help him treat his illness. Su Yiyan did not expect her mother's imagination to be so wild. She even imagined a prenuptial agreement. While she breathed a sigh of relief, she did not know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, what are you thinking about? How could the two of us have such a thing? You really didn't? Chang Xiuqin looked at Su Yiyan in disbelief. At that time, Su Yiyan had suddenly changed her mind and wanted to marry Hua Chenhuan. Moreover, the two of them had long been in love with each other and would not marry anyone but him. Although the family could not dissuade her, they still had doubts in their hearts. They were afraid that the two of them were just impulsive. In the future, when they calmed down and stopped being impulsive, it would be easy for them to become resentful couples. Until yesterday, when he suddenly learned that Hua Chenhuan's leg had been healed, Chang Xiuqin was indeed happy at first. Later, when he heard what his husband and son said, he couldn't help but feel a little worried. With this worry, she inevitably began to let her imagination run wild again. She even dug up the previous matter. She felt that the two of them might have made some kind of deal before they got married, and Hua Chenhuan's leg could be healed as one of the terms of this deal. Of course not, Mama Ing. What are you thinking? Am I the kind of person who would joke about my lifelong happiness? If I really wanted to make a deal with him, there were many ways to do it. Why would I choose the method that was the most disadvantageous to me? In order to teach the scumbag a lesson and vent my anger for myself, I sacrificed my lifelong happiness. Mom, do you think I'm such a stupid person? Chang Xiuqin was speechless by his daughter's words. He also realized that his imagination was indeed too presumptuous. Immediately, he felt a little embarrassed and complained, You were too unreliable at that time. You wanted to break off the engagement, but unexpectedly, you arranged another marriage for yourself. In addition, Hua Qihan's family was too infuriating at that time. I was afraid that you got married on a whim. After all, I've never heard you talk about him before. Chapter 5:18. Su Yiyan never thought that her mother would actually think this way, even though she said that she believed her. However, on second thought, if it were her, if the person she was extremely close to suddenly changed her personality one day and said that she wanted to marry someone she had never heard of before, she was afraid that there would be a question mark in her heart. Yes. This is indeed my fault. I didn't tell you in advance and gave you such a big shock. However, I really didn't lie to you about the fact that we like each other. I have always been cautious about matters of the heart. I won't joke about it easily. Moreover, when Chen Huan and I got married, you should have seen the betrothal gifts that Chen Huan gave. If we were really just in a contract marriage, how could he take out all his assets without reservation? He's not stupid. Chang Xiuqin was stunned. After thinking about it carefully, it made sense. Forget it. Chen Huan's leg is already healed. You two live well in the future. I won't worry about it anymore. Okay. Chang Xiuqin smiled and pinched her daughter's little face. Then, she seemed to have thought of something and frowned. By the way, after you two get married, who is in charge of the family's money? Su Yiyan was stunned. Although she didn't quite understand why she asked this, she still answered truthfully. Now most of it is under my name. Other than some basic funds for the operation of the company, most of it has been invested. The profits have been quite good recently. It's good that you're in charge. However, you'd better be careful. Now that Chen Huan's leg is healed, he will have to go out and socialize in the future. It's not that I don't believe in your relationship, but the family itself needs to be managed well. Marriage doesn't mean that everything will be fine. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched slightly. Mom, are you worried that Chen Huan will cheat on me after he recovers? Cheng Xiuqin glared at her. I didn't say that. I just want you to be careful. Relationships need to be managed, and so does family. Don't take it too seriously. Otherwise, if you come back crying to us in the future, we won't care about you. Su Yiyan laughed. Even if you don't care about me, don't you still have my brother? If he dares to let me down, my brother will be the first to not let him off. You! Just because your brother dotes on you? Su Yiyan held her hand and laughed. After laughing, she couldn't help but turn to look at her and ask in a low voice, Mom, other than this, do you have anything else to ask me? The smile on Cheng Xiuqin's face also faded a little. She looked at her little daughter, who had never made her worry since she was a child. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. Yes, but I won't ask. This answer was beyond Su Yiyan's expectations. Why? Actually, ever since you were pushed down by that bastard Hua Xiaofan and that little B*TCH and sent to the hospital, I felt that you seemed to have changed. You became different. It didn't matter if it was his thoughts or his personality. It's not that you've changed a lot all of a sudden. It's just that you seem to have matured a lot all of a sudden. You're starting to have your own little secrets. Mom, Cheng Xiuqin held her hand and said with a smile. At that time, your father and I both thought that you grew up all of a sudden because of Hua Xiaofeng's incident. At first, we were also very worried that you might have been holding it in. If you continued to hold it in, would you get sick? Su Yiyan was touched and helpless. I really don't have any feelings for Hua Xiaofeng. Breaking off the engagement with him really didn't affect me much. Chapter 519. Even if you don't have feelings for him, it's a fact that what he did hurt you. From the beginning to the end, they were not angry at Hua Xiaofeng for falling in love with someone else, but at his self-righteousness. From the beginning, he never put the Su family and Su Yiyan on the same level as him. Even when he broke off the engagement, he was condescending and aggressive. Originally, even if it was the man's fault for breaking off an engagement, the woman would definitely be hurt to a certain extent. Otherwise, no one would say something like, "It's because you're not good enough to keep the man. You deserve to be abandoned." Hua Xiaofeng's actions at that time practically threw their family, especially Su Yiyan's face to the ground and trampled on it. Cheng Xiuqin did not find it strange that Su Yiyan was provoked because of this. Later, when we saw you fiddling with some strange things, we also felt that you were unhappy and wanted to find something interesting to divert your attention. Until your aunt came over. When Su Yiyan heard this, her hands subconsciously tightened. The medicinal cuisines she made at the beginning were more toward diseases, and they were all given to the audience in the live broadcast room in a lucky draw after they were done. Even when she made some for her family later on, her family basically did not have any major problems. Most of the food she made was mainly for maintenance. The most obvious one was to nourish her uncle and aunt's health and let them have a child. Then why didn't you ask me at that time? I wanted to ask, but I was stopped by your grandfather. Grandfather? Su Yiyan was a little surprised. Your grandfather saw through your father's and my thoughts and deliberately talked to us. He told us that it's normal for children to have secrets when they're old. Since you don't know, you must have your own difficulties. As elders, the only thing we can do for you is to pretend that we don't know anything. We don't want to make things difficult for you. As long as you're well, it's fine. Mom! Su Yiyan's eyes stung. She could not help but reach out and hug Cheng Xiuqin's waist. I didn't mean to hide it from you, it's just that I don't know how to tell you. I'm also afraid that you'll be sad and worried if I do. I know. Later on, I also understood that you must have your reasons. I only hope that you can live a good and peaceful life with Chen Huan happily. In the future, when you give birth to a son or a daughter, your family will be lively and happy. It's better than anything else. Yes. Cheng Xiuqin patted her daughter's head lovingly and sighed. Your father asked you to come over today because he was curious about Chen Huan's leg. On the other hand, he was worried that if his leg recovered, those people who hit him when he was down and felt threatened by his recovery would do something to hurt you out of desperation. When you go back, you should also tell Chen Huan to be more careful recently. Those people with no ability and heart are used to playing dirty tricks. You can't be careless. Su Yiyan could tell who she was referring to. She hurriedly nodded, and a cold light flashed in her eyes. Before this, she had not seriously done anything to Wen Jingping and the others. First, she was full of thinking about how to cure Hua Chenhuan. She did not have the energy to deal with them. They did not provoke her. As long as they did not go too far, she was too lazy to deal with them. Second, she was also afraid of the so-called protagonist's halo. If she did not kill them, she might be unlucky. If she killed them, the world would collapse. Chapter 5:20. No matter which one it was, it would be a strenuous and unrewarding task. He could only steal Wen Jingping's golden finger bit by bit to prevent her from playing any tricks. Now that Hua Chenhuan's leg was healed, and he had stolen nearly half of Wen Jingping's female lead halo, it was time to think about how to deal with the two of them. Su Yiyan was already secretly thinking about how to make trouble for Wen Jingping and Hua Xiaofan. On the other hand, Hua Chenhuan was under double pressure from her father-in-law and brother-in-law. We're all family, so let's not beat around the bush. Yanyan cured your leg, right? Hua Chenhuan's eyes flashed. She didn't plan to hide it from the two of them. Yes. Who else knows about this? Other than a few of my trusted aides. Only one of my uncles knows about it. However, Yanyan has helped a few people before. If word gets out, even if we don't say anything, they should be able to guess. Su Yuxuan and his father thought that Su Yiyan had only cured Hua Chenhuan. They didn't expect that there were others. Judging from his tone, there seemed to be a lot of them. So many people. Hua Chenhuan knew what they were worried about. We can't hide this. Yanyan doesn't plan to hide it. Grandpa knows about it too. Su Yuxuan's face darkened. Grandpa. A professor from a university found Yanyan through the research institute, hoping that she could use her abilities to benefit the public. Yanyan agreed. Now, he occasionally goes over to teach them on the weekends. Although the students and teachers have all signed confidentiality agreements, if this goes on, it will definitely leak out. When the father and son heard what he said, their expressions were a little complicated. Since the professor had found Yanyan through the research institute, Grandpa Chang must have talked to him and knew about it. The fact that Grandpa Shen allowed her to look for Yanyan meant that he had acquiesced to her decision. In the end, she chose the most difficult path. Mr. Su's expression was a little ugly. He said worriedly and gloomily, "This child." Seeing this, Hua Chenhuan comforted her father. "Dad, if you're worried that Yanyan's medical skills will cause trouble for her, you don't have to worry. I can protect her." What arrogance! Before Mr. Su could say anything, Su Yuxuan interrupted. A man's wealth is his own ruin. No matter how powerful a man is, he's still afraid of death, illness, and accidents. Yanyan, are you sure you'll be able to protect her if she encounters some unreasonable and ruthless characters? How are you going to protect her? Brother, you don't have to worry about that. On the surface, I've basically transferred all the assets under Yanyan's name, but some of the assets that don't suit her are still in my hands. Mr. Su subconsciously looked at Su Yuxuan when he heard this. He looked surprised. What do you mean? My father did give the Hua Corporation to Hua Qihan back then, but my mother left everything she had to me. It was Hua Qihan's fault for being too greedy. He only had eyes for the Hua Corporation, thinking that it was the biggest piece of meat. Little did he know that Mrs. Hua's family background back then was not inferior to her husband's at all. This was also the reason why he was able to quickly establish Fantasy Club in a few years and spread its branches to many fields even though he was only assigned to the family Hua mansion. My uncle has been managing the inheritance my mother left me all these years. Then your uncle. He's abroad. Hua Chenhuan met the father and son's inquisitive gazes. He's under. Chapter 5:21. When Su Yiyan came downstairs, Hua Chenhuan and Su Yuxuan had just come out of the study. Su Yiyan immediately rushed over when he saw him and asked softly, "Are you okay?" "What can happen to me?" Dad and brother were just concerned about my recovery and wanted to ask me a few questions. Father and brother Su. Who cares about you? Shameless. Humph. Su Yiyan was not so easily fooled. He looked at them suspiciously. Really? Su Yuxuan and his son received the suspicious gaze from their sister, daughter. Their hearts felt as if they had been soaked in vinegar for more than 10 years, and it was extremely sour. Their baby did not even believe them in order to protect this dog of a man. She even looked at them suspiciously. Aya, their hearts hurt so much. Cheng Xiaoqin saw through the father and sons acting at a glance. He rolled his eyes helplessly. All right. Your dad and the rest are just curious about how he recovered so quickly. He's not a scourge or a beast. Would he eat Chen Huan? Su Yiyan touched his nose awkwardly and smiled apologetically. Cheng Xiaoqin saw this and decisively turned to the father and son. It's rare for Yan Yan and Chen Huan to come back. Even if you're curious, you'd better control yourself. If you scare them away, I'll teach you a lesson later. The father and son of the Su family. What happened to the promise of advancing and retreating together? In the end, you still betrayed them. However, they could not say anything. People at the bottom of the food chain really could not be hurt. Sob. After the family had a peaceful lunch, everyone made a video call to Cheng Juanhao. In the video call, Cheng Shueru's belly was already quite big, and her face had also gained some weight. Yan Yan, you're home? Yes, Chen Huan and I are back. When Qin Shueru heard her mention Hua Chen Huan, the corners of her lips curled up slightly. She smiled faintly and said, I've heard about Chen Huan from Jun Hao. Congratulations. Su Yiyan chuckled, his face full of joy. Seeing this, the people present looked at each other and laughed. Aunt, how have you been recently? Is the baby okay? After Qin Shueru returned to the Cheng family, the two would video call once every half a month. Su Yiyan would meet with the other party and adjust her daily diet based on the specific prenatal checkup report. Everything is good. The baby has been moving more frequently recently. Your uncle said that the baby is so naughty. It's most likely a boy. That's not for sure. Qin Shueru had just finished speaking when Cheng Xiaoqin impatiently interrupted. When Yan Yan was in my stomach previously, she was much more noisy than Yuxuan. His father and I thought it was another chubby boy. We didn't expect it to be a baby girl. It was Su Yiyan's first time hearing Cheng Xiaoqin talk about this, and she was surprised. Really? Why don't I? Cheng Xiaoqin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You weren't even born at that time. How could you have any impression? But speaking of this, it's indeed quite magical. When your brother was in my belly, he was very obedient and didn't move much. Your father and I were worried that there was something wrong with the baby. We did a lot of tests and all said that the baby was very healthy. We thought it was a quiet baby girl. In the end, we didn't expect that the baby would be a monkey spirit. He was so naughty that your father chased after him every day to hit him. You, on the other hand, were very noisy during pregnancy. But when you were born, you didn't cry or make a fuss. It was very easy to raise. Cheng Xiaoqin glanced at his eldest son with disdain as he spoke. Clearly, he was reminded of the fear of being dominated by a naughty child more than 20 years ago. Chapter 522. Su Yuxuan, who had been enjoying the show, was suddenly made the scapegoat. You guys can talk about your own things. Why are you dragging me into this? Why was she always the one getting hurt? Compared to Su Yuxuan's grief and indignation, Hua Chenhuan was more interested in Su Yiyan's childhood. She even took the initiative to ask, Mom, do you have any photos or videos of Yan Yan when she was young? Cheng Xiaoqin replied without hesitation. Yes, quite a lot. Yan Yan was very obedient when she was young. She did whatever she was told. Her father took many videos and photos of her in little dresses. If you're interested, I'll send you a copy later. Hua Chenhuan's eyes lit up. Thank you, Mom. Su Yiyan blushed and mumbled. I was very tan when I was young. I was quite ugly. I didn't look good at all. That's because you insisted on going fishing with your grandfather. How could you not get tanned in the summer? Old Master Cheng liked fishing and liked to invite his friends to fish. Most of the old master's friends were fishing friends of his. Su Yiyan had stayed with the Cheng family for a period of time when she was young and often went fishing with the old master. In the hottest days of the summer, even with umbrellas and sunscreen lotion, a child's tender skin would still darken after a month or two. Su Yiyan had looked through the family photos before and had a deep impression of those photos. She looked like a black coal ball. Hua Chenhuan didn't give up after hearing her words. Instead, she became even more curious and said excitedly, "Yan Yan looks good no matter what. Even if you're tan, you look good too." Su Yiyan. Now that she was said that, she felt a little embarrassed. Everyone. Sweet words and honeyed words. "We won't eat this dog food. Auntie, take care of yourself first. In a month Su Yiyan wanted to say, "I'll take Chenhuan to your place." But then she remembered that Hua Chenhuan's leg had just recovered. She might be very busy in the following days and wouldn't have time to accompany her. Hua Chenhuan could tell at a glance that she was at a loss. She smiled faintly and said, "Now that my leg is healed, I was just thinking of going out for a walk. It just so happens that our honeymoon hasn't ended yet." Su Yiyan's eyes lit up. That's right. Although they were married, they hadn't had their honeymoon yet. "Then in another month, Chenhuan and I will go over to look for you. At that time, you and Uncle must not dislike us for freeloading." Qin Shueru was almost 8 months pregnant. In another month, it would be almost the due date. She and Hua Chenhuan could go over to watch the birth of the child. At the same time, they could stay for another month to help her with her confinement. A month later, Fan Weiming and his wife's treatment was almost complete. Both Ning Chirue and his brother were in the recovery period, so she only needed to send the medicinal cuisine to them every day. Luo Weibing's sister was the same. She needed to stabilize and recuperate for a while before she could carry out follow-up treatment. For the time being, there was no hurry. Not to mention the company. Xia Junxing was in charge of Dongqing. Li Jingwen and the others in the medicinal cuisine restaurant could also take charge of it. Usually, she only contacted them remotely and didn't go to the restaurant much. Not to mention that there were a few old professors who went to their restaurant every day under the pretext of eating medicinal cuisine to nourish their bodies. In fact, they just wanted to see more of the medicinal herbs in their restaurant. With their protection, as long as the employees didn't make trouble themselves, there shouldn't be any big problems. As for Uncle Jiang yesterday, she didn't know if he could help. Even if he could, she would let them find him by themselves or simply postpone the treatment and wait for her to come back. Chapter 523. She had to have the attitude of asking for help. She did not owe them anything. Compared to them, her aunt and future cousins were definitely more important. Su Yiyan had already calculated in her heart and was not afraid at all. When Qin Shueru heard that she was coming, she could not hide the smile on her face. "I'm more than happy that you guys can come. Why would I dislike it?" Then it's settled. After successfully setting the time, Su Yiyan reminded Qin Shueru of some things to pay attention to. Noticing that she was a little tired, she hung up the call first. After that, the two of them stayed at the Su residence for a while. They politely declined Cheng Xiuqin's invitation to stay for dinner and left the Su residence before dinner. The two of them had just gotten into the car when Hua Chenhuan asked first, "Mom and Dad were both here just now. I'm embarrassed to ask. What did Mom say to you when she brought you upstairs? Did she make things difficult for you?" "What can Mom make things difficult for me? She's worried about me." Hua Chenhuan raised an eyebrow. "Worried?" "Yes, worried that I'll be abandoned by you." Hua Chenhuan's face darkened. Without thinking, he said, "I won't abandon you." Su Yiyan rolled her eyes and deliberately teased him. "That's hard to say. My mom said that it's easy for a man to turn bad when he's rich. You're rich to begin with, but you were like that before. Now that things are good, who knows what kind of crazy bees and butterflies will come to seduce you." Su Yiyan wanted to tease him at first, but toward the end, she was really jealous. "Don't tell me that it's not possible." Back then, the young master of the family Hua was famous for being a rich husband. Many girls took the initiative to throw themselves at him. "Didn't a niece who almost became your fiancée popped up a few days ago?" Hua Chenhuan listened to Su Yiyan's sour questioning. Looking at her small mouth that could be hung with a bottle of vinegar, she hurriedly swore, "No matter how many girls come to me, I will never take a fancy to them. You are the only one in my heart." Of course, Su Yiyan knew this. But when he thought that there might be women who would take the initiative to stick to Hua Chenhuan, He felt a little jealous. The smile in Hua Chunhuan's eyes deepened when he saw her like this. He patiently coaxed her. You just said that the women who come to me at this time are basically here for my money and my identity. Even if they have a little bit of affection for me, they must have a motive. It's not pure. Do you think I'm that stupid to give up on someone who truly loves me for those hypocritical feelings? Su Yiyen's face became a little better, but she was a little disappointed. If her mother hadn't reminded her, she wouldn't have thought that Hua Chunhuan's good attitude not only meant that he would re-enter the eyes of the big families and pose a threat to many people, but also meant that his identity, his status, and the hidden money behind him would attract a lot of covetous eyes. Hua Chunhuan seemed to know what she was thinking. He slightly raised the corners of his mouth and said, Have you forgotten that all the industries under my name are now in your hands? If those people know about this, do you think they will still come to me? Su Yiyen was slightly startled. She felt a little proud in her heart, but she still said, Although they are in my hands, the people who manage these industries are your people. If you want to secretly transfer the assets, it's not impossible. Hua Chunhuan couldn't help laughing. His little wife had watched so many rich and powerful family dramas that she even thought of transferring assets. Do you mean that you want to replace Yen Bai and the others and let your people manage these industries? Chapter 524. Su Yiyen was silent for a moment and shook her head. They are professionals. If it were other companies, they might not be able to operate well. Moreover, these things were originally yours. If you want to take them back, I have nothing to say. In the end, these things did not change. What changed was the human heart. When a person loved you, they wanted to give you all the good things. These things were the sweetness of love to you, and it was the proof that they cared about you. But if they really didn't love you, no matter how hard you tried to keep them, the other party had countless ways to take them back from you. So, listen carefully. If you dare to betray me in the future, I don't want you anymore. Hua Chunhuan's eyes flashed slightly. He pressed against Su Yiyen's forehead and looked straight into her eyes. He said word by word, I won't give you the chance. Su Yiyen smiled and took the initiative to change the topic. I told you what my mother told me. Shouldn't you tell me what my father and brother told you? They are also worried about you. Worried about me? Su Yiyen was stunned. She felt that what they were worried about might be different from what her mother was worried about. Worried about me? They guessed that you cured my leg. They were worried that this matter would be too eye-catching and cause you trouble. Su Yiyen was silent for a while. She asked Wuxia in a low voice, Am I too willful? She knew that some things would cause trouble, but she still couldn't bear to pretend that she didn't see it. In the end, her family still had to help and protect her. Hua Chunhuan couldn't bear to see her so disappointed. He reached out to touch her head and sighed. Have you forgotten what I told you before? As long as it's something you want to do it. I'm here. It wasn't that he hadn't thought of hiding Su Yiyen. In fact, this idea had appeared more than once. But no matter how much time had passed, the person in front of him was his nemesis. He would be jealous and resentful, but he always couldn't bear to hurt her or do anything to make her unhappy. Su Yiyen was like a little sun in his eyes. She warmed him and also warmed those who had nowhere to go. He didn't want to share this warmth with anyone, but he was afraid that if he tried to stop it, it would cause this little sun to lose its warmth. Therefore, the only thing he could do was to let this little sun shine without any worries and not let anyone hurt her. In order to do this better, he was so eager to stand up when he found that he could still feel his legs. Yan, I will protect you. You don't have to worry about anything else. Su Yiyen's eyes flickered slightly. In a trance, she thought of the man in her previous life who was willing to go against the whole world for her. Yes, I believe you. By the time they got home, it was already dark. After dinner, Hua Chunhuan couldn't wait to bring Su Yiyen upstairs. Only then did Su Yiyen realize what kind of trap she had dug for herself last night. Looking at a certain someone whose eyes were so bright that they almost burned her, Su Yiyen's mouth twitched slightly. She took a deep breath and said, take a shower first. Hua Chunhuan's eyes deepened. Together. Su Yiyen. If they did, would she still be alive? I'll go first. Su Yiyen didn't dare to look Hua Chunhuan in the eye. She picked up her clothes and rushed into the bathroom. Hua Chunhuan didn't stop her. looking at her back as she left in a hurry. His eyes flashed with a determined light. Chapter 525. After Su Yiyan rushed into the bathroom, her face was so red that it could drip blood. The rising hot water spread in the room and covered the mirror at the side. Su Yiyan looked at her red face in the mirror and thought about what was going to happen next. Her heart couldn't stop thumping. Isn't it just a wedding night? We are legally married. Why are you panicking? Can't you be more mature? Su Yiyan glared at herself in the mirror. Then, she took a shower as fast as she could and hid under the covers before Hua Chenhuan came near. Hua Chenhuan glanced at Su Yiyan, who was hiding under the covers like a small bump, and the smile in his eyes deepened. When she heard the bathroom door close again, Su Yiyan poked her head out from under the covers and reached out to touch her phone. She opened the private collection that Ling Xiaoqi had sent her and decided to make a last-minute effort. However, Su Yiyan misjudged Hua Chenhuan's shower time and even misjudged how anxious he was about this. Just as she was nervously watching the short video with complicated feelings, the bathroom door opened with a click. Su Yiyan was shocked and instinctively wanted to turn off the short video. Unfortunately, she wasn't as lucky as before this time. In a fluster, the phone slipped out of her hand and slid to Hua Chenhuan's feet. Hua Chenhuan. Su Yiyan. Hua Chenhuan was stunned for a moment and leaned over to pick up the phone. Su Yiyan was so scared that her face changed shape and she screamed, "Don't move!" But she was still a step too late. Hua Chenhuan glanced at the silent short video that was still playing on the screen. When he raised his head again, he looked at Su Yiyan with a complicated and meaningful gaze. Su Yiyan felt her scalp tingle under his gaze and said in a trembling voice, "Let me explain." "Okay, you explain. I'm a little nervous." Hua Chenhuan's eyes flickered. "So, you watch these little videos to relieve your tension?" Su Yiyan lowered her head slightly, wishing she could dig a hole and bury herself in it. Hua Chenhuan's laughter rang in her ears. Su Yiyan's face suddenly turned red. She raised her head to glare at Hua Chenhuan angrily. Before she could finish her words, her lips were kissed, and a certain figure pressed down on her. "I'm sorry." Hua Chenhuan's voice was low and magnetic, just like in the past, but with a sexiness that had never been there before. "You don't need to learn this kind of thing. Just leave it to me." Su Yiyan didn't have time to ponder over his words before the quilt was flipped over and covered the two of them. The late wedding night was more special and ambiguous than any other night, making people blush. The next morning, Su Yiyan woke up in a trance. Before she was completely awake, a cool kiss fell on her forehead. "Morning." Su Yiyan opened her eyes wide and subconsciously glanced at the quilt. Sure enough, the two of them did everything. Nothing. Where? Recalling what happened last night, Su Yiyan's face turned red. She subconsciously hid under the quilt and whispered, "Morning." Hua Chenhuan saw that she was shy, so he reached out and hugged her tighter. Yen. What? You finally belong to me completely." Su Yiyan's face turned red. She wished she could hide under the quilt and never come out. But soon she thought of another thing. She poked her head out of the quilt and stared at Hua Chenhuan with burning eyes. Chapter 526. Hua Chenhuan was inexplicably flustered by her stare. He asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" "Last night, was it really your first time?" Hua Chenhuan frowned. He didn't understand why she asked this question. Could it be that she thought his technique wasn't good enough? "It was my first time." "Then why are you so skilled?" Hua Chenhuan was stunned. He couldn't help but laugh. "Can I take it that you're praising me?" Su Yiyan blushed and glared at him. "Don't change the topic." Hua Chenhuan laughed. "I was still underage when the accident happened. The implication was that she couldn't do it when she was underage. She had no chance to do it when she was an adult. Of course it was her first time." "Then you can watch videos. Can't I read books?" "Read books?" Su Yiyan's eyes widened. She obviously didn't expect this answer. "Yes." Su Yiyan frowned. "Where did you get the books? Who recommended them to you?" "A small yellow book." "Who was it?" Who was the one who led my husband astray? The 3 people who were worried sick for their young master. Achoo! Hua Chenhuan didn't answer her question. Instead he asked, then who gave you the videos? Su Yiyan choked. I asked first. Xian, Xiaoyang, and Yan Bai. Hua Chenhuan decisively betrayed his trusted subordinates. Then, he gestured to Su Yiyan. It's your turn to speak now. Su Yiyan's eyes dotted around. She didn't dare to look at Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan saw her like this and guessed. Ling Xiaoqi? Su Yiyan trembled. She still didn't speak. Hua Chenhuan already had an answer. A dark light flashed in his eyes. Su Yiyan felt guilty for a while, but she suddenly regained her confidence. You read the book, and I watched the video. We're even now. It's not even, Hua Chenhuan said without hesitation. You're not allowed to look at it anymore. Su Yiyan glared at him. Why? Words aren't as direct as videos. Haven't you seen enough of me? You still want to look at other men? In the end, porn was just text. It didn't have the visual effect of a short video. The reason he read pornographic novels was to increase his knowledge in this area. But he had never looked at other women's bodies. Su Yiyan was different. At the thought of this, Hua Chenhuan wished she could burn the men and women in the video to ashes. Su Yiyan knew that he was in the wrong, so his momentum immediately weakened. Fine. Is that all? Then what do you want? Su Yiyan glared at him again. This guy was getting more and more insatiable. I want compensation. What? Su Yiyan had just finished speaking when she was kissed again. Then, the 2 people under the big quilt could be seen struggling. Occasionally, Su Yiyan's voice of protest could be heard. No, get up quickly. I still have class in the afternoon. Hua Chenhuan, you bastard. Fortunately, Hua Chenhuan still had a little conscience. He knew that Su Yiyan still had class in the afternoon. In the end, he didn't go all the way and let her go. Su Yiyan escaped with difficulty. Looking at the obvious red marks on her neck in the mirror, she angrily gritted her teeth. This beast, she told him not to leave marks on such an obvious place, but he just didn't listen. Now, she still had class in the afternoon. If it was seen by others, Su Yiyan, who was ashamed and angry, looked depressed. She secretly wondered if it was because she had been making medicinal meals for a certain someone recently. She had given him too much nourishment, so he didn't know how to control himself. Should she make something else to calm him down? Chapter 527. At that time, Hua Chenhuan still didn't know that his wife was like a rabbit grinding its teeth when provoked. Her thoughts were quite dangerous. Even though he was sitting expressionlessly downstairs, a mysterious and unfathomable aura still lingered around him. When Yu Zian arrived, he saw this scene. His eyelids twitched, and he moved like a crab to Uncle Zhang's side. Young master, what's wrong today? Uncle Zhang had a kind smile on his face. He clearly saw through the situation and said, young master's health has improved, so his mood naturally improved as well. Yu Zian nodded, not fully understanding. He had a feeling that things weren't as simple as Uncle Zhang said, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Until he saw Su Yiyan coming down from upstairs. As soon as Su Yiyan saw Yu Zian, she remembered what Hua Chenhuan said last night, and her face darkened. It was this guy who found those dirty words for Hua Chenhuan and caused her to suffer last night. Hua Chenhuan was the mastermind, and he was also an accomplice. Humph. Yu Zian's heart trembled when Su Yiyan glared at him. He didn't understand what he had done wrong to provoke this good-tempered young madam. Su Yiyan didn't explain. She sat at the table furthest away from Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan's eyes flashed when he saw this. He stood up and sat next to Su Yiyan. In reality, he was shamelessly sticking to her. If the mountain doesn't come to me, I'll go to the mountain. Su Yiyan frowned when she saw him coming over. She stood up and walked to the other side of the table. Hua Chenhuan didn't get angry and continued to chase after her. As a result, Yu Zian and Uncle Zhang, who were silently watching from the side, were lucky enough to witness a chase at the table. Su Yiyan ran for about 5 minutes before he finally couldn't take it anymore. He slammed the table, pointed at the seat opposite him and shouted, "You go over there! Don't come over!" Hua Chenhuan looked aggrieved as he stared at his wife with puppy eyes. Su Yiyan was unmoved. He pointed at the opposite side with a cold face, not allowing any refusal. When Hua Chenhuan saw that there was no room for negotiation, she regretfully got up and moved to the opposite side. However, she chose the shortest distance to Su Yiyan. Picking up his bowl and chopsticks, he glanced at Su Yiyan every time he ate a mouthful of rice, and glanced at Su Yiyan every time he ate a mouthful of vegetables. It was obvious that he was treating her as a side dish, which really verified the phrase, a feast for the eyes. Su Yiyan, who felt goosebumps all over, was speechless. This shameless fellow. How infuriating. Yu Zian and Uncle Zhang, who had witnessed the couple's childish quarrel, were speechless. A few seconds later, Yu Zian finally realized what was going on and turned to look at Uncle Zhang. He asked with a questioning gaze, "Young master and young madam, are they fighting?" Uncle Zhang narrowed his eyes and raised an unfathomable smile. "Even if they are fighting, it's still fun. You don't understand the romance between couples." Yu Zian, who felt like a knife had been stabbed in the heart for no reason, was speechless. This world really isn't friendly to single people. After eating the long-overdue breakfast and lunch, Su Yiyan left the house in a slightly depressed mood. Before she left, she glared fiercely at Hua Chenhuan and Yu Zian. Yu Zian, who had been implicated twice in a row, was confused. He couldn't help but ask Hua Chenhuan, "Young master, young madam, she..." Hua Chenhuan didn't listen to him at all. He only looked at his wife's back as she angrily left. He rubbed his chin and muttered, "I went a little too far the first time. It's better to restrain yourself in the future. However, you can't blame me for this." Who asked his wife to be so attractive? Yu Zian, who had been fed dog food in the face, was speechless. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 528. After Su Yiyan came out of the house, her anger finally subsided a little. She reached out to pull at the thin turtleneck sweater around her neck, revealing the obvious mark. Her heart immediately flared up again. She was already feeling hot. Even wearing a thin sweater made her flustered. There would be so many people in class later. Who knew how hot it would be? At the thought of this, Su Yiyan wished she could break a certain someone's third leg that had just recovered. Hua Chenhuan, who was regretting that she didn't have enough time in the morning, suddenly shivered. She suddenly felt that a certain part of her body was a little cold. Su Yiyan was thinking about the dangers of children when her phone suddenly received a message. She looked down and saw that it was from Ling Xiaoqi. "Ling, what's the meaning of this?" "Ling, picture." Su Yiyan clicked on the picture and saw that it was indeed her mail account. As for the content, "My Yan Yan is still a baby. Don't send those weird things to him in the future. Thank you for your cooperation. Su Yiyan." "What baby?" "You're the baby. Your whole family is a baby." "No, his whole family." Seemed to be her? Su Yiyan's mouth twitched. She was about to say something when she suddenly thought of something else. "Yen, wait, how did you get my husband's account? You guys are actually in contact in private?" "Ling? Ling, get lost. He just added me this morning. Wasn't it you who gave him the account?" Su Yiyan. It wasn't, but she seemed to have guessed what was going on. Su Yiyan thought for a while and pulled up the file from before. Sure enough, it was empty. There was nothing in it. This jealous lover really acted quickly. He didn't like her watching these videos last night, and now he had deleted them all. Su Yiyan was angry and amused at the same time. Then, she saw Ling Xiaoqi send another message. "Ling. No, that's not the point. The point is, what does this mean? Did your man catch you watching the videos? Then you guys. Yen, it's what you think. Shy. Shy." Ling Xiaoqi almost choked on a mouthful of blood. What's there to be shy about? I'm not going to eat this dog food. However, she quickly came to her senses and thought of something else. Ling, that's not right. Didn't you say that you haven't done it before? Ling, wait, you didn't do it last time because it was inconvenient for your husband to do it while he was undergoing treatment. Now that his leg has recovered, you guys. Yen. Shy. Shy, Ling, eh? Shameless. Ling Xiaoqi kicked over the bowl of dog food and blocked Su Yiyan. As it turned out, she still had a lot of foresight. When Su Yiyan saw her words, she immediately wanted to spread more dog food to relieve her depression. In the end, he realized that he had been blacklisted. Su Yiyan. Angry Ghost. This was Su Yiyan's second class at University A. Based on the foundation of the previous class, the students in the classroom and the professors who came to sit in on the class had already arrived early. Sitting in the front row was still a bunch of stubborn people. This group of people smilingly occupied the best seats so that they could see more clearly when Su Yiyan personally demonstrated. They even said that they were old and had poor eyesight, so they couldn't see at all sitting in the back row. Young people have good eyesight, so they should respect the elders and not fight with them. The glasses boys sitting in the back silently swallowed the bitterness of grief and indignation. Read the latest chapter of The Male Protagonist's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 529. Su Yiyan didn't know if it was because she had a guilty conscience, but the moment she stood on the podium, she felt that everyone's eyes were on her neck. Fortunately, Su Yiyan had been through a lot, so she quickly calmed down. Ahem, before we start the new lesson, let's do a spot check and see what we did in the last lesson. Who is willing to take the initiative? As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, a forest of trees was raised from the bottom of the stage. Su Yiyan. That's not right. Under normal circumstances, shouldn't most people be unwilling to be picked to answer questions? Why was it reversed when it came to them? Su Yiyan looked at the crowd with a look that said, "Why aren't you following the script?" Then, she randomly picked a few people to answer the questions. She realized that the other party's answers were clear and logical. She guessed that they had spent a lot of effort studying and memorizing the lessons. After that, she didn't make things difficult for them and quickly got to the main topic. In the last lesson, what were we going to talk about in this lesson? As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, a few old people in the front row yelled at the top of their lungs, "Acupuncture!" Su Yiyan. You guys aren't old, so take it easy. Do you really think you're still 17 or 18 years old? Ahem. That's right. Acupuncture. But before we learn acupuncture, we have to learn about the human body's acupuncture points. Acupuncture points. Yes, acupuncture points, Su Yiyan said as she pulled the mannequin that Yi Chilyong had prepared earlier to the front of the podium. Everyone's eyes lit up. Yi Chilyong had asked someone to move the mannequin in the morning. Everyone saw it when they entered the classroom. Some students curiously went over to take a look. They wanted to touch it but were chased away by the old people, afraid that they would be careless and break it. When they saw Su Yiyan pull the mannequin to her side, they subconsciously straightened their bodies, wanting to see the mannequin more clearly. I asked Professor Yi to help me make this mannequin. The black and red dots on it are the various acupuncture points of the human body. In our human body, there are a total of 720 acupoints. There are 52 single acupoints, 309 double acupoints, and 50 extra meridian acupoints. The 8 extraordinary meridians mentioned by the ancients are actually a type of meridians and acupoints. Su Yiyan paused. What is worth noting is that among these 720 acupoints, 108 are vital acupoints, and 36 of them are fatal acupoints. Everyone below couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Achilles' heel? This phrase didn't sound very auspicious. The death acupoint, as its name suggests, is an acupoint that can lead to death. However, there was no need for everyone to be too nervous. Under normal circumstances, pressing and massaging these acupoints would not cause any adverse effects. The reason why they are fatal is because if you get into a fight with someone or accidentally fall down, a strong impact can be fatal. For example, the most obvious temple. Many people know that the sunken position next to our eyes needs to be protected. It was because this acupoint was the Tai Yang acupoint, one of the death acupoints. Everyone knew that the brain was the most important and complicated part of the human body. When many people fall from a high place, they will subconsciously reach out to protect their head to prevent it from getting injured. And this temple happens to be the weakest part of our skull. Chapter 530. Su Yiyan stretched out her hand and gestured on the model. Because it's the weakest, it's also the easiest to injure the brain. Usually, we can rub it lightly to relieve brain fatigue to a certain extent, but we can't hit it too hard, especially not to hit it. If we hit it too hard, it'll lead to fainting or even death. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, some people couldn't help but exclaim softly, "I know this! When I was in high school, I happened to see two groups of people fighting near the school when I returned home. One of them was especially fierce and even hit people's heads. There was a boy who was hit to this position and couldn't get up. Later he died just like that. That person was also arrested because of this. Now that you mention it, I also remember something. Previously, I had a distant relative. He was a man in his 30s or 40s. It was said that he went to the toilet late at night. The road was slippery when it rained, so he slipped and fell to the ground and died immediately. Later, I heard from other relatives that a stone hit his head. Now that I think about it, it's really scary." Su Yiyan listened to everyone's discussion and sighed softly. She took the opportunity to say, "So everyone must be aware that the human body's acupuncture points can help us treat illnesses, but they also have a certain degree of danger. Before you're confident, you shouldn't act rashly. Otherwise, you'll end up hurting people instead of saving people with good intentions." When the people heard this, they hurriedly counted and memorized every word Su Yiyan said. "Today, let's learn a few acupuncture points on the hand." As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, someone volunteered. "Sister Su, do you need an assistant? Just like the previous class, I can help." Like a stone that raised 1,000 ripples, this person opened his mouth, and the restless people below also echoed, "I can do it too. Sister Su, look at me, look at me. I'm 1.8 meters tall and weigh 160 pounds. I exercise daily and have a strong body. I don't have any bad habits." Su Yiyan. Strong body and no bad habits. Are you here for a blind date or for a class? Go, 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 go away. Since you want to be an assistant, you'll definitely choose someone who isn't healthy. If you don't have a serious illness, you'll at least have some kind of illness. Someone like you who is too healthy should be eliminated as the first choice. Sister Su, look at me, look at me. I'm the most suitable one. The healthy student who was caught off guard. Is it wrong to be too healthy these days? Su Yiyan. You don't have to curse yourself like that. The emotions of the students below were surging, and the few old people in the front row could no longer sit still. You bunch of bastards, scram to the side. All of them are in their early 20s and are still alive and kicking. How can they be as sick as us old bones? Even if Sister Su wants to choose, she should choose us. What does it have to do with you youngsters? That's right, that's right. You don't know how to respect your teacher at all. What did the teacher usually teach you? One must respect their teachers and know how to be humble. Usually, it's fine. Teacher will turn a blind eye to it, but this time, I won't give anything to you. The youngsters who were suddenly accused of not respecting their master. Who was the one who gave in? How could they bully Rao like this? Su Yiyan. You're all a bunch of old bones. Can't you know your place? Don't get involved in everything? Still alive and kicking? I think you guys are the ones who are jumping around the most. Chapter 531. A good demonstration was about to turn into a battle between master and disciple in the martial arts school. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched slightly. She decisively took out the acupuncture needle she carried with her and said loudly, "Since everyone is so enthusiastic, it would be impolite for me to refuse. But since I've already called everyone, in order to save time, I won't bother two people. I'll be called up to help later. Later, you'll have to help me test this needle." Su Yiyan chose the longest needle in the bag. It was thin and long, and could cause you to bleed at any time. Many of the people in the audience had never even heard of acupuncture before, let alone seeing such a long needle. The visual stimulation was indeed a bit of a thrill. In a split second, the classroom was dead silent. Most people showed signs of retreating. The 10 or so elders in the front row were the first to react. They realized that their chance had come. Sigh, if I don't go to hell at this time, who will? Let me do it. Young people lack the fearless spirit of sacrifice. People like us, who have one foot in the coffin, can only contribute at this time. The young people who were inexplicably dissed for being greedy for life and afraid of death. Inexplicably sullen. Su Yiyan. You guys are really giving it your all. Also, Don't think that I can't see the crazy smile on your faces just because you're so dignified. You're really taking advantage of me and still pretending to be obedient. You're acting as if coming here is a generous death sentence. You're too spoiled. Su Yiyan rolled her eyes at the few people who spoke and simply chose a few elders who silently raised their hands. The few people who were shouting enthusiastically. They felt that after putting on an act for so long, in the end, they still made a wedding dress for someone else. Su Yiyan didn't care about their aggrieved and complaining eyes. She asked the few elders who were chosen by her to gather around the podium. Considering their age, Su Yiyan considerately asked them to bring a few chairs up. Now, let's look at a few acupuncture points on the hand. First, this position. Su Yiyan compared the model while she asked everyone to bend their fingers and make a fist. This position is called the Laogong acupuncture point. It's at the tip of the middle finger when we make a fist. What is the use of this acupoint? Su Yiyan reached out to one of the old men and asked him to pass his hand to him. This acupoint has many uses. Not only can it clear the heart fire and calm the mind, but it can also cure insomnia. It can also strengthen the heart and relieve high blood pressure. In addition, it can also nourish the stomach. Nourish the stomach? Yes, pressing this acupoint regularly can promote blood circulation, relieve neurasthenia, and increase appetite. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, everyone started to touch and rub that spot with curiosity. However, most of them did not dare to use too much strength. After all, Su Yiyan's Achilles heel technique had left them with some psychological trauma. In addition, the Daling and Naguan acupoints also have the function of nourishing the stomach. These two acupoints are located at the midpoint of the palmar side of the transverse vein of the wrist and 2 inches above the transverse vein of the wrist, which is roughly around this position. Su Yiyan personally gestured the approximate location of the acupoints for everyone. In addition, one thing to note is that children are different from adults. Generally, the acupoints should be slightly closer together. As Su Yiyan spoke, she pressed on the Naguan, Laogong, and Daling acupoints for the old man who had been chosen. Everyone's eyes were practically glued to the two of them. After a series of actions, it was unknown whether it was because her actions were really effective or because the old man was excited, but his face turned a little rosy. Chapter 532. A few old professors who were familiar with him saw that he didn't say anything, so they quickly asked, "Old Li, how do you feel?" "Yeah, what do you feel?" Old Li, who was in the center of everyone's attention, had a subtle expression. He could feel that his body was different, but the feeling was so subtle that he didn't know how to describe it. "I just feel. My stomach is a little warm, and my body is a little hot." Then, gulp now. He didn't need to say anything. Everyone could roughly guess how he felt. His stomach growled in front of so many people. Old Li's face turned red, but he couldn't help but marvel at the magic of this acupuncture point. His stomach had always been bad. As he got older, his body functions were slowly declining, and he usually didn't have much of an appetite. If it wasn't for the fact that his family had caries and his body couldn't take it if he didn't eat, he probably wouldn't have thought of eating. This was the first time he had such an obvious hunger and wanted to take the initiative to eat. Su Yiyan saw his embarrassment and smiled faintly. "Professor, you have to pay attention to your health even when you're busy with work. Don't starve yourself like this. It's not good for your health. If you don't have a good body, how can you continue to contribute to everyone?" Old Li heard that she was helping him to smooth things over, so he quickly went along with her. "I've been busy organizing things these few days. I won't do it again." Su Yiyan smiled and quickly covered the matter. Next, let's go to the Ho Shi acupoint. The Ho Shi acupoint is at the end of the horizontal lines behind the palm and finger joints. This acupoint has a certain effect on cervical, lumbar, and eye diseases. It's very useful for people who spend a lot of time at a desk or studying with computers. Next is the Yang Shi acupoint. This acupoint is located in the depression between the extensor pollicis brevis and extensor pollicis longus tendons when the thumb and index finger diverge. Press on this position for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. It helps to refresh your mind and relieve headaches so that you won't fall asleep in class. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, everyone immediately roared with laughter. After all, everyone had the experience of wanting to sleep when they were confused in class, especially on a hot summer day. Running to class without taking a nap, Even if you really wanted to listen to the class, you couldn't resist the call of the god of sleep and became a chicken pecking at rice. After a few classes, the way everyone looked at their hands had changed. Before this, they would never have thought that there would be so many acupoints on their hands. Furthermore, each of these acupoints had its own unique function. Su Yiyan could tell that everyone was very interested in the issue of acupuncture points, so he unconsciously talked more about it. In the end, he did not manage to demonstrate acupuncture to them. For this reason, the few old professors who were selected felt very regretful. They wanted Su Yiyan to continue this benefit to the next class, but they did not know what to say. Su Yiyan. Was it necessary? In order to avoid being pestered, Su Yiyan should have run away as soon as class was over, just like last time. But this time, she had something to discuss with Yi Chilyang, so she really couldn't run away. Professor Yi. Wait a minute. I have something to discuss with you. Yi Chilyang was stunned. Then his eyes lit up. What is it? Is there a special teaching tool that you need my help to customize? Chapter 533. Su Yiyan looked at his expectant expression, which was the same as that of those old professors, and said awkwardly, "No, it's about me forgiving him." Forgiving him? Yi Chilyang's expression changed slightly. He looked at Su Yiyan in horror, afraid that this big boss would go on strike on the spot. Su Yiyan's scalp tingled under his gaze. My aunt is pregnant with a baby. She will give birth in a month or two. She's not old. I can't be at ease if I'm not by her side when she gives birth. I'm going to accompany her in a month. After that, I might stay there for another month or two before coming back. If you don't mind, can we change the weekend classes to online classes? Otherwise, I'm afraid we can only temporarily stop. Knowing that Su Yiyan was not going to go on strike, Yi Chilyang breathed a sigh of relief and immediately said, I don't mind. Let's use online classes. When the time comes, we will organize good people to attend the classes together. Then I'll have to trouble you. After informing Yi Chilyang in advance, Su Yiyan felt relieved. Just as she was about to go home, she was surrounded by a group of people. Unlike last time, most of the people surrounding her this time were girls. Susu, are you that President Su on the internet? Are you really a rich second-generation heir? Is your husband really as handsome as the rumors on the internet say? Susu, is your husband that handsome guy last time? Is his leg really healed? When are you going to bring him over for us to see? Su Yiyan was too lazy to correct them. She helplessly laughed and said, Why should I bring him over for you to see? That's my husband. Only I can see him. The girls surrounding her did not expect her to respond like this. They were stunned for a few seconds before they reacted. Hey, wow. Sure enough, the good women in this world are no longer single. The good men are also no longer single. Only us single dogs have no home. No, we have to be stuffed with dog food. Sob. I want to. Sigh, the cold dog food is on my face. It's too hard for single dogs. Su Yiyan was amused by these drama queens. Just as he was about to speak, a sudden clamor came from outside. The few of them were stunned and subconsciously turned their heads to look in the direction of the voice. They saw someone standing outside the classroom. Su Yiyan's eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't be bothered to continue talking to them and hurriedly rushed out of the classroom. Why are you here? Fortunately, it was a long holiday and there weren't many people in the school. Otherwise, those people in the classroom wouldn't have to sign confidentiality agreements. By the time they got home, the news of the two of them appearing in a university would probably spread like wildfire. Hua Chenhuan reached out and helped her up. She smiled faintly and said, If it's not you, can I pick you up at any time? It was true that she was living like that, but she didn't expect Hua Chenhuan to come to her so soon. I've already finished my class. Let's hurry back. Su Yiyan had already noticed that many people in the classroom were looking in their direction. She blushed and pulled Hua Chenhuan to leave. Hua Chenhuan didn't intend to leave just like that. Instead, he took a step back and opened his arms. Su Yiyan was a little confused. What are you doing? Fulfilling your wish. Fulfilling my wish? What do I have? Su Yiyan's words were stuck in her throat. She suddenly remembered the first time they entered the game. She was like a pendant hanging on Hua Chenhuan's body. She even hoped that one day, they could be like this in real life. Read the latest chapter of The Male Protagonist's Uncle Clearly Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 534. Looking at Hua Chenhuan's solemn expression, as if she was completing an important ceremony, Su Yiyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The two of them were so anxious that the people behind them started pointing at them and whispering. Su Yiyan blushed and went forward to hug Hua Chenhuan's neck. She jumped up and allowed Hua Chenhuan to carry her away like a child. F***ck. Not far away, the people who were secretly observing them were stunned by this novel combination. When Su Yiyan was carried into the car, she was like a cooked shrimp. She covered her eyes and curled up in Hua Chenhuan's arms. She wanted to play dead until the end. Hua Chenhuan looked at her and couldn't help but poke her. She chuckled and said, "Weren't you looking forward to it before? Why are you so shy now? How could it be the same? Previously, it was just the two of them in the game. Of course, she could do whatever she wanted. Anyway, no one else could see. Now they were in public in front of so many strangers. Most importantly, most of these strangers were her recent students. So, was she leading the way to abuse single people in school and mislead them?" Su Yiyan's mind was already filled with complaints. When she came to her senses, she realized that the car was driving on a road that was completely unfamiliar to her. This road doesn't seem to be the way home. Aren't we going home? We're not going home. Hua Chenhuan gently held Su Yiyan's hand and smiled. I'm taking you on a date. A date? Su Yiyan couldn't care less about her shyness. Where are we going on a date? You'll know when we get there. Hua Chenhuan kept her in suspense. Su Yiyan blinked and looked forward to it. Although they were married, they hadn't really gone on many dates. Previously, it was because their wedding date was close and Hua Chenhuan didn't like to go to public places because of her leg problem. This was their first date since Hua Chenhuan's recovery, not counting the game. Su Yiyan couldn't deny that he was looking forward to it. The car took a detour to a remote mountain. The mountain was not big, but the ecological environment was well protected. It was lush and verdant, and one could faintly hear the cries of animals at night. This was quite rare in City A where the population was exploding. When the car was halfway up the mountain, it became a stone walkway. They couldn't continue going up. Su Yiyan got out of the car and looked at the long stone steps, as well as the dense lights on both sides of the stone steps. He was surprised and curious. Are we still going up? Yes. Hua Chenhuan glanced at the place she hadn't set foot in for nearly 10 years, and her eyes flashed. Let's go. Su Yiyan noticed the change in Hua Chenhuan's expression. Her intuition told her that there was something he was concerned about. The mountain wind at night was a little cold. It blew on the two of them, taking away a lot of fatigue and heat. Even so, halfway up, Su Yiyan still couldn't bear it. She had stood for the whole afternoon in class, and now she had walked for so long. Her legs were beginning to ache. Hua Chenhuan obviously expected this. He stopped and stood in front of Su Yiyan. With his back to her, he bowed and said, "Come up." Su Yiyan was stunned. No, I can still go back." Hua Chenhuan turned to look at her and said with a faint smile, "Do you think I can't carry you?" Su Yiyan. Although it was the truth, when it came from his mouth, it sounded like he was complaining that she was fat. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 535. In the end, Su Yiyan couldn't persuade Hua Chenhuan. She stretched out her arms and hung from his arms to his back. "If you're tired, follow me. I can walk on my own." There were hundreds of steps behind her. If she was too tired and her legs went soft, it would be no joke. "Don't worry. With your weight, another one won't be a problem." Su Yiyan. She suspected that he was bluffing, but she didn't have any evidence. The mountain was particularly quiet at night, especially when there weren't many people around. Only the chirping of birds and insects could be heard, which calmed people's restless mood. Su Yiyan leaned on Hua Chenhuan's shoulder and looked at the steps that extended to the top of the mountain. She seemed to have thought of something and laughed out loud. Hua Chenhuan immediately noticed and asked in a low voice, "What are you laughing at?" "I thought of our son." "Son?" Hua Chenhuan raised his eyebrows. "Dun Dun?" "Yes." Su Yiyan excitedly shared with Hua Chenhuan the interesting thing that she had discovered recently. "Isn't our Dun Dun short? The stairs in the old house are higher than the stairs in my house. It's easy for it to climb the stairs in my house with its short legs, but it's a bit difficult for it to climb the stairs in the old house. 2 days ago, Uncle Zhang found that it wanted to climb the stairs secretly when we weren't around. In the end, its upper body went up, but its lower body was still struggling at the bottom. It couldn't climb up no matter how hard it tried. Their dog didn't have any skills in climbing stairs. It only knew how to jump. Its upper body would jump up first, and its lower body would climb up again. It was fine if the stairs were low, but if the stairs were too high, it was easy to get stuck and its lower body couldn't climb up. Uncle Zhang found it interesting and even took a picture of it. If this silly dog knew that its dark history had been seen by others, it might throw a tantrum and run away from home again. What Su Yiyan didn't know was that while she was talking, a dog that wanted to sneak up the stairs while its owner and dog father weren't at home was unexpectedly stuck halfway up the stairs. His upper body was flat on the steps, and there was nowhere for him to place his penis. His entire body was filled with a melancholy aura, as if he had nothing to live for. Just as it was at a loss for what to do, Roly-Poly, who was on routine patrol, quickly noticed its predicament and hurried forward to rescue it. Detected that the house pet is having difficulty climbing. Activate rescue mode immediately. Roly-Poly's big black eyes flickered a few times. Her round hand moved and with a click, it turned into a claw that was similar to a claw machine. She reached out and picked up a Dun Dun corgi doll. Dun Dun. What kind of operation is this? I'm really not a doll. Dun Dun was still in a daze when he was placed on the ground. After a long while, it finally remembered and barked at Yuan Yuan. Don't think that I'll accept an outsider like you just because you saved me. I'll never give in. Roly-Poly tilted its head. It couldn't understand dog language at all. Dun Dun saw that Roly-Poly didn't say anything, so it took it as a yes. Its watery eyes swayed and drifted to its round body, then swayed and drifted to its round head. Its eyes lit up slightly. Immediately, it laid flat on Yuan Yuan's round legs and tried to climb up. Unfortunately, Yuan Yuan's exterior was covered with a metal layer. It was slippery, and there was no point for it to exert strength on. Dun Dun couldn't climb halfway up. It was so tired that it collapsed on the ground like a piece of dog biscuit. This is even more tiring than climbing stairs. I just want to take advantage of the fact that the owner isn't home to have some fun upstairs. Why is it so difficult? Read the latest chapter of The Male Protagonist's Uncle Obviously Loves My Claw bookstore for free. Chapter 536. After resting for a while, Dun Dun still did not give up. It turned around and wanted to climb the stairs again. Roly-Poly, who had been silently watching it from the side, finally understood its intention. It stretched out its claws and picked Dun Dun up from the ground again and put it on its shoulder. Dun Dun was caught off guard and lifted into the air again. Its short legs kicked hard, and in the next second, it landed accurately on Roly-Poly's shoulder. It was stunned for a moment and looked down at the floor under them. Oh, this was the highest distance it had ever been from the ground other than when its master and father hugged it. However, it was still a little dissatisfied with this geographical position. It turned its head and looked at Roly-Poly's head, which was close at hand. Without thinking, it jumped up again. Because Roly-Poly's surface was too slippery, it almost fell off. In the end, Roly-Poly reached out and poked its butt, pushing it above its head. Dun Dun, who had successfully climbed on top of its rival's head, felt that it had reached the peak of its life. It barked happily a few times. Cough, seeing that you're so considerate, I'll reluctantly accept you as my little brother. After it barked, it patted Roly-Poly's head with its paws, signaling it to bring it upstairs. Brother, let's go. After countless difficulties and obstacles, the robot and the dog finally succeeded in reaching the second floor and started the adventure. Not far away, Uncle Zhang, who had recorded the entire interaction between the two, ended the shoot with a smile, hiding his achievements and fame. There was one more activity material at home. It was really worth celebrating. However, these two were still too monotonous. He hoped that young master and young madam could work harder and give birth to a grandchild as soon as possible. When the time came, they could play together. Just thinking about it made his heart tremble. Achoo! As if it had sensed Uncle Zhang's sincere prayers, Su Yiyan's nose itched and it could not help but sneeze. Hua Chenhuan immediately became nervous. Did you catch a cold? No, maybe someone is thinking about me. If you feel cold, you have to come with me. Su Yiyan did not feel cold, but it was curious what Hua Chenhuan would do if it felt cold. If I feel cold, will you put on a coat for me like the male lead in the TV series? Hua Chenhuan, who was walking up the stairs, stopped abruptly. Then, she continued to walk up. If you like, that's fine too. What do you mean it's fine if I like it? In other words, you didn't intend to do it in the first place. Then what do you want to do? Go back. If you feel cold, we can go back. Su Yiyan. What kind of response was that? If you really feel cold, you should go back. But if you answer like this, it's easy to be alone for the rest of your life. Su Yiyan had a stomach full of complaints, but she didn't know what to say. At that moment, Hua Chenhuan asked, Are you cold? I'm not cold. I'm very hot right now. I'm going to die from the heat. It wasn't easy for me to climb up here, and I didn't see anything up here. Are you telling me to go back now? Don't even think about it. Hua Chenhuan didn't seem to be surprised by her answer. He chuckled and said, Hold on a little longer. We're almost there. Su Yiyan. What was she holding on for? She was easily carried up by someone, and she didn't have to exert any strength. Thinking about it this way, Su Yiyan didn't want to complain anymore. She asked softly, Are you tired? Why don't you put me down? I'll walk on my own. I'm not tired. I like carrying you like this. He didn't have the chance in the past, but now that he did, he hoped that the road would be longer, and that he could carry her for a while longer. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle is Obviously in Love with My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 537. Su Yiyan blushed, happy and sweet. In order to pretend to be calm, she no longer stared at the front, but turned to look at the woods and the night view under the road fence. This mountain was facing the sea on one side and a city on the other side. Looking down from here, they could almost see the entire A city. Thousands of lights converged into a piece, shining like the Milky Way, but more noisy and warm than the Milky Way. Although this place is remote, the scenery is very good. It's just that the traffic is not convenient, otherwise many people would come here to play. But in that case, I'm afraid the environment here can't be protected so well. Hua Chenhuan heard her silence for a moment and said in a hoarse voice, This is private property. Without permission, no one is allowed to enter. Private property? Su Yiyan blinked and vaguely realized something. Just as she was about to ask, she was interrupted by Hua Chenhuan, We're here. We're here? Su Yiyan was shocked and hurriedly poked her head out from behind Hua Chenhuan to look forward. She was stunned by what she saw. On the open field, there were all kinds of beautiful flowers. Green grass and branches were entwined on the walls and the metal arch bridge. It looked complicated, but it was not complicated. In addition to a large area of carefully trimmed green lawn, there was a pool in the center of the yard. A row of tulips was planted on the edge of the pool. Closer to the pool, one could vaguely see swimming fish. The water in the pool should be spring water from the mountain stream. It gurgled and poured into the pool, then swam along the pool's edge to an unknown place. Under the hazy light and moonlight, the yard was covered with a layer of faint light, looking like a secret garden in a fairy tale. Su Yiyan thought that the manor she saw on the island was beautiful enough, but now seeing this yard, she understood what was called outside cherry blossoms. Is it beautiful? Beautiful. This yard is so beautiful. How did you find this place? This is too. Hua Chenhuan looked at her face, which was difficult to hide the surprised smile, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up. This is the place where my father confessed to my mother? Your father and mother? Su Yiyan suddenly turned to look at Hua Chenhuan. Then this mountain. You said it was your private territory just now. It's private property. After my father confessed to my mother, He bought this mountain as a memorial. Then, according to my mother's preferences, he built this place on the mountain. Su Yan. Fine, I'll buy it. As expected, being rich and happy isn't something ordinary people like me can imagine. Although the Su family was considered wealthy, there was still a certain gap between them and a wealthy family like the Huan family. At the very least, no matter how much her brother or father liked it, they couldn't fork out so much money just to buy this mountain as a souvenir. Not long after this place was completed, my father transferred this yard and this mountain to my mother's name as a wedding gift. As soon as Su Yan heard this, he remembered the island and the manor that had been transferred to his name. Su Yan. So, giving your wife a large property when you get married is a custom passed down in your family? If she had a son in the future, wouldn't she have to help her son prepare an island or a mountain for his future wife? Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore for free. Chapter 538. Ever since she married into the family Hua, this was the first time Su Yan had been struck by the extravagance of a wealthy family. For the first time, she even had the feeling that she had married into a wealthy family. After my parents died, this mountain automatically fell under my name. Now, Huan looked at Su Yan with a teasing expression. It's yours. Su Yan's body trembled as if she had just woken up from a dream. No, there's no need. I already have the island that you gave me. Your parents left this for you. I can't accept it. Huan looked at her and couldn't help but tease her. Who did it belong to yesterday? Men become bad when they have money. Should I leave my money to you? I'm just giving this mountain to you. Why don't you dare to accept it? I'm not afraid. Just what? It's just that this place means something different to you. It's too valuable. I can't accept it. This place does mean something different to me. That's why I brought you here. As for giving it to you, Huan paused. It's my mother's idea. Your mother's idea? Yes. Huan moved closer to Su Yan's ear and smiled faintly. This mountain, this courtyard, and this building are all gifts from my mother to her future daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, she didn't have the time to give it away and left first. You're her daughter-in-law. If you don't accept it, do you want me to give it to someone else? How dare you? If she gave it to someone else, wouldn't she be wearing a green hat? I wouldn't dare. So, will you accept it? Su Yan. Are you telling the truth? You're not lying to me? Su Yan was still a little doubtful. How could she just give away such a huge property? Moreover, she didn't even know when it would appear. What if this daughter-in-law didn't please her or was greedy? Why would I lie to you about such things? Huan held her hand. Do you want to go in and take a look? Su Yan glanced at the magnificent courtyard. In the end, she couldn't resist the temptation and nodded. Yes. This pond was specially dug by my dad. He liked fishing, and my mother liked tulips, so he had people dig this pond and planted a row of tulips on the side. Every summer he would fish here, and my mother would cool off by the side. This arch is a pair with the one in the old house. One is black and the other is white. The patterns are the same. Back then, my dad had someone specially design it like this because he wanted to decorate this place as a second home. This swing here was made by my father for my mother. According to my mother, he made it very ugly in the beginning. It was bumpy, uneven on both sides, and not stable at all. She didn't like it at all. Later on, my father specially looked for a craftsman and learned for a long time. Only then did he become what he is now. Unfortunately, no matter how good a swing is, it has changed after so many years. Huan touched the rusty swing. His eyes were filled with nostalgia and some suppressed bitterness. Su Yan had been by his side the whole time. She silently listened to him introduce the plants and trees here. She knew very well that Huan needed someone to listen to him at this time. In the eyes of others, everything here might just be beautiful scenery that was worth a fortune. However, in his eyes, everything in every corner here contained beautiful memories that belonged solely to him and his family. This was something that could not be bought with money. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore for free. Chapter 539. Su Yiyan reached out and grabbed Hua Chenhuan's hand, holding the swing rope with him. Your father loves your mother so much, so he must have made a new one for her. Naturally, they won't need this old one. Hua Chenhuan took a deep look at her and chuckled. Yes, my mom left for a while, but she's still worried about half of the people. Even when she's gone, she won't be willing to let her suffer. What? Su Yiyan didn't hear what he said, but she felt that something was wrong. Nothing. Hua Chenhuan shook the swing in his hand. I haven't been here for almost 10 years. It's okay. We can come here more often in the future when we have time. The air on the mountain is good, and this place is so beautiful. It's good for your health to come and stay here often. Okay. The flowers and plants in this courtyard were all planted by my parents. Some have withered, but some have spread very quickly. Although they have invited people to come here regularly to repair it, there are still a lot of weeds. If you don't think these flowers look good, I'll get someone to repair them and replace them with flowers and plants that you like. No need. Su Yiyan said without thinking. This is good. These flowers are very beautiful. There's no need to change them. Those that have withered can be cleaned up and replaced with new ones. Su Yiyan knew that Hua Chenhuan said this because he felt that there was no point in leaving these things behind. However, she felt that each of these things were traces of Hua Chenhuan's parents, and it would be a pity to throw them away. Those that had withered couldn't be helped, and those that were still alive could continue to be taken care of. The main theme of the courtyard could be maintained as it was. They only needed to sow new seeds in the barren land, and let the new vitality bring this old courtyard back to the home that once made Hua Chenhuan feel warm. You can decide. I have no objections. Okay. Su Yiyan's gaze swept across the layout of the courtyard. Although he really wanted to explore this lush courtyard, it was already night time. It was pitch black and had been in disrepair for a long time. Who knew if there were any dangerous things hidden in the depths of the grass? After pondering for a moment, Su Yiyan decided to take a look inside the house first. Can I go in and take a look? Of course. I asked someone to clean the house this morning, so it shouldn't be too dirty. In the morning? Su Yiyan immediately grasped the key point. Did you just get someone to clean up this morning? When Hua Chenhuan heard this, a rare look of embarrassment appeared on his face. After Su Yiyan left in the morning, he immediately posted a request for help online, asking the netizens, what should I do if I go too far in bed and make my wife unhappy? Was there any way to coax his wife back? Once the post was posted, there were quite a few people who came over and gave him a lot of suggestions. Of course, most of them came here to drive. The car that drove the fiercest and fastest was the most popular. Whether it was the number of likes or replies, it dominated the rest of the suggestions, leaving all the other suggestions behind. Unfortunately, Hua Chenhuan automatically oversold them and only chose some of the more reserved ones. For example, find a beautiful place to have a romantic date. Watch a movie together to lighten the mood, and then have a kiss, hug, and raise up high. Buy for your wife. As long as you are willing to spend money to buy more gifts for your wife, you won't be angry for long. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 540. As soon as Hua Chenhuan saw the word gift, he thought of the old house with a large yard that his mother had left behind for his future daughter-in-law. He immediately asked someone to come over and clean the house before Su Yiyan's class ended. Then, he brought someone over. Su Yiyan saw that he didn't speak, so she didn't continue to ask. She pulled Hua Chenhuan and was about to walk inside, but found that she couldn't move him at all. You! Su Yiyan turned to look at him doubtfully. Seeing his complicated expression, she suddenly understood his mood and asked tentatively, Do you want to go in? If you want, I'll go in with you. Otherwise we can walk around outside. This yard and the night view outside are also very beautiful. Hua Chenhuan met her concerned gaze, and his slightly narrowed eyes were a little warmer. He held Su Yiyan's hand and said, It's okay. Let's go in. I haven't been here for so many years, and I also want to see what it has become inside. Su Yiyan carefully looked at his face. Seeing that he didn't show any reluctance, she held Hua Chenhuan's hand tightly and went into the house with him. This villa located on the mountain had a total of 3 floors. The white outer wall looked a little old due to years of disrepair. In addition, some plants and vines in the yard climbed up along the corners of the walls, adding a little green to the snow-white outer wall. The interior of the house looked quite clean, perhaps because it had just been cleaned. However, after so many years of not living here, there was a little more decay and a little less vitality. A beige sofa was placed in the spacious and bright hall, and all kinds of rare murals were hung on the surrounding walls. These murals had people, animals, and plants. The only thing they had in common was that their background color was almost all warm. It was obvious that the person who chose them was a very warm person. In addition, there were some beautiful vases. Unfortunately, because no one lived here for many years, there were no fresh decorative flowers in the vases. It looked bare and a little cold. This painting. Su Yiyan noticed that among the murals on the wall, there was a portrait that was particularly eye-catching. It was a portrait of a woman. The woman in the painting looked to be in her early 30s, mature and intellectual. Her watery eyes looked straight ahead, and the corners of her lips were slightly raised. The arc was not particularly big, but it was enough to make people feel the joy in her heart. Just by looking at this painting, one could feel her gentle temperament and the elegance in her bones, making people unconsciously feel good about her. Hua Chenhuan looked at the painting in a daze for a moment. Only at this moment did he finally realize that no matter how much time had passed, no matter how much he tried to deceive himself and others to forget, even when he married Su Yiyan, he deliberately did not think about this place and handed it over to her. In the depths of his heart, this place was different after all. This painting was painted by my father. The person in the painting is my mother. Su Yiyan had already guessed in her heart. Hearing Hua Chenhuan's words, she could not help but sigh. Your mother is really beautiful and has a good temperament. No wonder your father loves her so much. Hua Chenhuan was amused by her words, and the trace of sadness in his heart dissipated a lot. If my mother heard your words, she would be very happy. No one would not like to be praised, and his mother was no exception. With his mother's temperament, if she was still alive, Hua Chenhuan believed that she would be very satisfied with the daughter-in-law he found for her. Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore, for free. Chapter 541. Hua Chenhuan didn't stay in front of the painting for long. Instead, he took Su Yiyan upstairs. The location of this building was rather special. Apart from the side that faced the front yard, the other side faced City A, where one could have a panoramic view of the night view of City A, and the other side faced the sea. Standing in front of the window, one could smell the salty smell of the sea breeze blowing over. Hua Chenhuan took Su Yiyan to visit the room by the sea, and then took her to the other room. As soon as Su Yiyan opened the gauze curtains that had just been replaced, she saw the lights of thousands of houses on the mountain path. However, from this position, it was more condensed and beautiful than on the mountain path. Hua Chenhuan stood behind her, reached out and wrapped his arms around her waist, and held her in his arms. This is my room. The room by the sea that we just went to was my parents' room. These two rooms have the best view in the whole house. They thought that young people like to be lively, so they left this room to me. I think they chose this room because they didn't like to be disturbed. Even if the person who disturbed them was me. Hua Chenhuan said this with some nostalgia and some grievance. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. She took the initiative to lean back and chuckled. I don't like to be disturbed either. Think about it. If we were at home, Dun Dun or Yuan Yuan, or both of them suddenly barged in. Hua Chenhuan. Well, as long as he imagined this scene, his face would turn several shades darker. Su Yiyan naturally noticed his sullen look, and it was difficult for her to hold back her laughter. However, she forgot that she could hold back her laughter, but her body couldn't hide her trembling. Hua Chenhuan looked at her helplessly, but his expression was better. He continued, After my parents passed away, I was afraid to come to this place. I even subconsciously wanted to forget this place. Because of this, he didn't immediately hand this place over to Su Yiyan. Compared to the old mansion, this place was more like his home. It only belonged to him, his parents, and the 3 Raos. As far as he could remember, his parents would take some time out every year to bring him here. At first, he would bring along Hua Xiaofan. Later, no one knew what Hua Qihan and his wife said to him, but that guy never came again. Regarding this, Hua Chenhuan was secretly delighted. He didn't like Hua Qihan's family, especially Hua Xiaofan and his nominal sister-in-law. If he didn't come, this place would completely become their territory. In this place, he had spent the best part of his youth. But in the end, everything was ruined. When Su Yiyan heard his words, she subconsciously tightened her grip on his hand. Her eyes were filled with heartache. Her man originally had a harmonious and happy family. His family was wealthy and his parents were loving. With such a family atmosphere, the children raised should be full of hope for the future. But in his previous life, he was like an old woman with one foot in the grave. He was rotten, twisted, and even crazy. Su Yiyan lowered her eyes to hide the sadness and heartache in her eyes. She comforted him in a low voice. It's all in the past. Now you have me. In the future there will be more people. Okay, Hua Chenhuan responded in a low voice. Yan. Yes. I only have you. Don't leave me. Su Yiyan's heart suddenly trembled. Without thinking she said, as long as you still need me, I will never leave. Chapter 542. The tens of thousands of lights outside the window were like shining stars, twinkling to show their vitality. The night breeze blew through the trees in the forest, rustling the leaves and the gauze curtains by the window. Under the dense light, two figures could be vaguely seen getting closer and closer until they were inseparable. The next morning, the two of them woke up early and returned to the family Hua. They thought that the family members would still be asleep at this time, but when they walked into the living room, they bumped into Uncle Zhang, who was holding Dun Dun and standing not too far away with a smile. Uncle Zhang? Young master, young madam. Uncle Zhang looked at the two sneaky people, and the smile on his face deepened. Last night, the two of you... Su Yiyan was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Nothing happened last night. We didn't meet anyone. Uncle Zhang glanced at the red marks on Su Yiyan's neck, but he didn't expose her. He smiled and said, young master and young madam are both adults. It's not a big deal if you don't go home at night. It's just that there are all kinds of people out there. It's not like home. Young master and young madam should be more careful. It's getting late. Young master and young madam should go upstairs and change. I'll supervise the kitchen and have them prepare breakfast as soon as possible. The two of them were like students who had been caught skipping class by the discipline master. They nodded obediently and hurriedly said, thank you for your hard work. We'll go up right away. Uncle Zhang looked at the two people who were fleeing in panic. His smiling eyes were full of understanding that he could not see through them. Ever since young madam married into the family Hua, the house had become much livelier. Now that young master's leg had recovered, he was a little livelier because of her. It was good. Young people should be more energetic. How could they be so lifeless? Su Yiyan went to Dongqing City after a simple breakfast. As soon as she got out of the car, she bumped into Ling Xiaoqi, who was also coming to work. Tisk. TSK. Women are indeed different after having a man. Look at your rosy face. It's just missing the words I'm very nourished written on your forehead. What are you talking about? Su Yiyan flew into a rage out of humiliation. She pounced on her and was about to tear her mouth open. Ling Xiaoqi was already prepared. She quickly dodged to the side to avoid Su Yiyan's sneak attack. You're anxious. Ha ha ha. Su Yiyan's attack missed. Gnashing his teeth, he said, if you do it again, believe it or not, I'll send Dun Dun to your house tonight. Who knows? Maybe next month your Hua Hua will be pregnant. Ling Xiaoqi's laughter stopped abruptly. She looked at Su Yiyan in disbelief. Are you a devil? Our Hua Hua is still a baby. Su Yiyan took advantage of her stupor and pinched her face. You're laughing at me. Am I not a devil? This is called giving him a taste of his own medicine. Feng. I. Ling Xiaoqi's face was pinched. She couldn't speak clearly and could only glare at Su Yiyan angrily. Su Yiyan vented his anger and quickly let go of her. You're so cruel. My face is red because of you. Ling Xiaoqi rubbed the red marks on her face and glared at Su Yiyan indignantly. Su Yiyan glanced at her and couldn't help but poke the two red marks. He smiled and said, "Fortunately, I pinched both sides just now. One left and one right is symmetrical. If I only pinched one side, wouldn't I be killing someone with OCD? Ling Xiaoqi. That's too much." Read the latest chapter of The Male Lead's Uncle Obviously Loves My Joie bookstore for free. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.